Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to our friends on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. We are coming to you live from the Talmud Lunch and Learn at the Torch Center, where we meet every Friday at 12 o'clock for a dose of Torah study through the eyes of the Talmud, and we're studying the Tractate of Brachot. But before we do that, we want to share with everyone out there a lesson for the 32nd day of the Omer, which is going to be counted tonight. And we count 32, which means heart. Lev, Lamed Bet. Lamed is 30, and Bet is 2. 32, heart. So when we're talking about the heart, what do we have to talk about? What's way number 32? Love humanity. Love humanity. It's interesting that lev and love are identical words. Just an interesting side note. But love humanity, right? It's ohev et habriyot. So we know there's a mitzvah in the Torah which says v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. There's a mitzvah to love your fellow like yourself. So we already discussed that the only way you can love someone is if you love yourself. Right? It says, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." You should love your fellow like yourself, meaning you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you've got some other problems. We can talk about that offline. And please, you're welcome to reach out to me privately. But a person has to have a love for themselves first. Once you love yourself, you have to know how to love your fellow like yourself. Right? Kamocha. Our obligation in this way number 32, is love humanity. Love every single human being. The most fascinating people you will meet are the people right in front of you. Talk to them. It's a very, very sad thing today is that people, you go walk into a restaurant, right? Of course, a Glatt kosher restaurant. I see Lakey Dunnan is watching us, so I'm going to put a plug. You can go to Lakey's at the JCC. You can get fantastic food, right? I know I had it one night this week. Thank you. It was delicious. Thank you, Bobby. And you walk into a restaurant and you see that people are looking at their phones. Look at the person opposite you and talk to them. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to talk to other people and learn about them, and what ignites them, what turns them on, what gets them excited about life. But the most fascinating person you will ever meet is yourself. Get to know yourself. Most people are afraid to know themselves. Most people are terrified about knowing themselves. You know, my grandfather, as you all know, was a great Musar master, and he would tell all his students, at night, go for a walk. Go for a little walk, but by yourself. And get to know yourself. So one time, of the 40 years that he ran his yeshiva, one time a student came running back, knocks on my grandfather's door, and he's terrified. He's white, pale like a ghost. So my grandfather says, what's the matter? Is everything okay? He says, I'm terrified. He says, what are you so afraid of? He says, you told me to go for a walk and to get to know myself. He says, but I met someone on the way and I'm terrified. He says, who was it? Was it a thief? Was it a mugger? What was it? He says, no, it was myself. He says, my whole life I've been living with a certain perception of who I was, and suddenly I see I'm a totally different person. I'm terrified. We have to get to know ourselves. So in loving mankind, we have to love ourselves. Get to know yourself. All right? You won't be let down. Because even if you find a flaw, which you most likely will find at least one flaw, you'll find many, many qualities. And you'll get to know yourself. You get to know, you know what, I do have qualities, but I also have flaws. You know what, I can work on those flaws. I can enhance my character. I can become a better person. And that's really what we need to do, is work on ourselves to become a better person. Because the better we are for others. The better we are for ourselves, the better we are for others. Right? So if you want to love other people, which is our obligation to start getting to love humanity, you know what? Not everyone's going to think like you think. Guess what? Surprise. Not everyone's going to vote like you vote. And not everyone is going to like the same type of entertainment, and not everyone's going to like the same style of music, and not everyone's going to like the same type of food. That's fine. Right? But there's so much more that we have in common than that. You know, one of the approaches that we have in Torch is we reach out to all of the congregations. As you know, we have partnerships with 18 congregations around Houston. And we're teaching Torah in all of these different congregations, all the way up to the Woodlands, Clear Lake, Sugarland, West Houston, Katy. You know, all of these congregations, wonderful people, in Cypress, in Spring, in Humble. We have wonderful people. But the question that I always get from the rabbi is like, one second, you're Orthodox. Right? You're Orthodox and we're conservative, or we're Reform. It doesn't compute. I say, you don't understand. We're all Jews. We're not conservative, we're not Reform, we're not Orthodox. We're Jews. And there's one thing we have in common, and that's Torah. The Torah belongs, Morasha Kihilat Yaakov. It's an inheritance for every single Jew. It's not an inheritance for the rabbis. It's not an inheritance for the religious. It's not an inheritance for those who are, it's an inheritance for every Jew. Kihilat Yaakov, the entire congregation of Jacob. Every one it owns and belongs in Torah study. So you know what? Let's say that what the Reform, Conservative, Orthodox disagree on is 3% or 5%, and some of it may be the most important parts of Judaism. You know what? Let's focus on the 95% that we can all feel comfortable with. Everyone wants to become a better person. Everyone wants to be a better husband. Everyone wants to be a better spouse, a better child, a better parent, a better neighbor, a better friend. That's what we want to improve. And let's focus on that. We're not going to focus on mechitza. We're not going to focus on, hey, let's keep that stuff another time. Right now, let's focus on becoming a better person. And I feel that it's a tremendous gift that our organization has so many incredible friendships and partnerships all across the city because we have one goal in mind, is love humanity. There are other organizations who do tremendous work with humanity, and we praise them for that. So I encourage each and every one of you out there, please take the time and go out and love humanity. All right? It's a tremendously rewarding experience to take that love that's locked up and bottled up inside you and share it with the world. With that, my friends, thank you for joining us. We're going to continue with our Talmud class here. You're welcome to join us every Friday at 12 o'clock right here at the Torch Center. Have a lovely Shabbos, everyone, and enjoy the counting of the Omer. Tomorrow night, as you know, will be Lag BaOmer, which will be the 33rd day of the Omer, which is a day of tremendous celebration tomorrow night, and a tremendous holiness, a day of tremendous holiness, because that's the day where the deeper hidden secrets of the Torah, the Kabbalah, was revealed to us on that day. Yes. So thank you all for joining us. Have a lovely Shabbos.